Thailand is a country on earth with 76 provinces located in Southeast Asia. It has some of the world's best beaches and it's home of Muay Thai. Hey look, people have just arrived in this big plateau in between these big jungles. They've also discovered bronze. Hey guys, let's make a kingdom. And then they made a kingdom. They made a kingdom so big and powerful it makes kingdoms. Not everyone liked that though. Bye said the Mons, bye said the Cham, bye said the Burmese. Also, a bunch of people are fleeing from China. They call themselves the Free People or something. This little peninsula is getting pretty diverse. Let's unify all the kingdoms, said some guy who was getting pretty popular because he wanted to unify all the kingdoms. You said the pagan and Khmer kingdoms trying to hold on to their land. Guys, why can't we all be friends? Sure, said Sri Lanka, accidentally spreading the religion everywhere. Wow, sir, the kingdom is doing so well. Do you have any advice on... Oh, and he is dead. And he was replaced by this guy who got really old and died, and he was replaced by this guy. At just 16 years old, he traveled to a legendary school founded by a hermit thousands of years ago. Here, he learned how to fight and ride elephants. Then he became king and made the military strong again. Not with bombs or planes, maybe he just couldn't afford them or something. He introduced these new fighting techniques designed to break bones. And then they made a book about it. Hi, I'm a local ruler. I was wondering, am I still allowed to stay in power? Yeah, sure, as long as you stay loyal to me. And then he got really old and died. I'm sure the gang will be able to decide who becomes the new king. Oops, now the whole kingdom is all broken up. Hey, said the Ayutthaya kingdom, taking over everyone. They saw the fighting style that they had here and thought, you know what? Might as well keep that. This guy didn't feel safe in his tiny palace. So he recruited some of the best fighters of the country to personally help him sleep better at night. Wait, what's that? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's... Knock knock. It's the Portuguese. We want to trade with you. The Portuguese landed here. Yo, we want your spices. You can have this in return. The king then went to the Netherlands and did a quick tour around Europe, meeting all the important people and setting up trade relations. Bro, there's a bunch of tourists in my house now. Can we please go back to being isolated? Thank you. And then they closed the country. For the next 150 years or so. Let's organize a tournament, said this guy who happened to be the king. They designed some of the rules and created the first ever Muay Thai tournament. Since the soldiers didn't want to kill each other, they wrapped their hands in cotton bandages, which definitely did not prevent serious pain. Some fighters even sneaked on some crushed glass on their gloves to deal more damage. Temples became training grounds. This martial art was seen as a spiritual practice to strengthen not only the body, but most importantly the mind. Fighters had to go through some of the hardest exercises known to man, literally crushing bones in their legs and arms over and over till they became as hard as rocks. The king and the royal family also practiced the sport, but the king wanted to fight in tournaments, but the fighters had too much respect for him and would refuse to fight him. So he decided to put on a tiger mask and fight the tournaments undercover. He fought amongst the regular Thai fighters and no one suspected a thing. He had defeated a bunch of top fighters without revealing his identity. The people gave him the nickname the Tiger King. No, not that one, more like this one. Anyways, Burma's attacking the capital. Wait, what? Yeah, our capital is being invaded. Bro, so uncool. Among the chaos, many warriors were taken as prisoners, and to celebrate the victory, the Burmese king held a 7-day festival. Among the activities were martial arts fights, raw, hand-to-hand combat that probably ended with one of the fighters dying. Look at those peasants, they stand no chance against our best warriors. Anyone wants to volunteer? I'll do it, said this guy. Ha, alright tough boy, let's see what you got. Oh, yeah, that's beginner's luck for sure. Send another one in. The fuck? I didn't say stop, go again. Sir, we're running out of warriors. The Burmese king was in disbelief, and probably a little bit scared too. This captured warrior had just defeated 10 of his best trained fighters, one after another, without resting in between. Just like that, the king granted him his freedom, probably out of fear. And then he became a national legend. To this day, March 17th is celebrated as National Muay Thai Day in his honor. The kingdoms were then united by this guy. And the new kingdom became known as Siam, which would later be known as Thailand and not Thailand. Let's recap. We've got a powerful kingdom with no enemies, a growing economy, and a very deadly sport that is used in times of war. Guess what happens next? Muay Thai is transforming during times of peace. It went from a deadly war or two to a celebrated national sport. There's many different styles all over the country. Each region follows its own style and set of techniques. In the north, they focused on powerful kicks, while in the south, they preferred close-range elbow strikes. They've also started using ceremonial headbands and doing ceremonial dances before the fights. A French diplomat travels to Siam and writes about the country. He sees how everyone is fighting or wrestling, which is a big part of their culture and religion. He writes a bunch of text, which he publishes in Europe, gaining lots of popularity. Anyways, the king is really bored. I haven't fought anyone since I became the king. Sir, your royal bath of Himalayan donkey milk is ready. He disguised himself as a regular guy, sneaked out of the palace, and joined a local Muay Thai competition at a temple nearby. And he won. twice. Crowd went wild. Two French boxers just landed in Thailand. They got in contact with a noble and directly challenged the king to a boxing match. No one had ever challenged us from abroad. We have to send our best fighters, otherwise we'll look like a bunch of pussies, said the king, not wanting to make Thailand look like a bunch of pussies. They built a stadium and announced that the winner would get 50 golden coins, around $300,000 in today's money according to ChatGPT. The entire royal family attended the match. The stadium was filled. The Kingdom of Siam presented this guy as their best fighter. It was a tough match for the French boxer. His opponent was constantly avoiding him while picking at him from afar. Now there isn't much historical data to what happens next, but basically most sources agree that something like this happened. Bro, don't worry, I got you. Huh? Why is that guy joining the fight? I don't know, but I don't like it. Wait, where are we going? Hey, yo, is that the prince? I wanna join too. Guys, get out of the ring and get these French guys some medical help. Come on, you're embarrassing us. This guy wanted to make Muay Thai really popular. It was already popular, but just more popular. He created nationwide tournaments, the main prize being a Thai nobility rank. He also created the Department of Education, which had Muay Thai as a main subject in the national curriculum. For the last couple years, Siam had been surrounded by these two colonial powers, but now they were fighting a big war back at home, and Siam, to show their support, sent a small group of soldiers to help them out. However, when the soldiers got there, they didn't really do much to the war. Instead, they were busy showing the French and the British boys some Muay Thai. They were fascinated. After the war, many French and British boxers traveled to Thailand to learn more about the sport. The first westernized ring was set up, with red and blue corners. This guy, who happened to be the king, said that someone had to write down the rules for Muay Thai somewhere, and then someone wrote the rules for Muay Thai, probably influenced by Western style of boxing. Referees were introduced and rounds were now timed. Fighters began wearing modern gloves and ball protectors. This ancient technique of wrapping cotton in their hands to make the punches harder was still used in fights, but after a famous death incident in the ring, it was decided that the fighters should wear Western gloves and cotton pads over the feet and ankles. World War II breaks out and Thailand is now ruled by a military dictatorship led by this guy. It was also around this time that the term Muay Thai started to be used. The older form of the fighting style became known as Muay Boran, which today is only performed as a ceremonial art. Then came the golden era of Muay Thai. It all started with an economic boom in Thailand after the World War. The country was growing, people had money and they wanted entertainment. A small fire was growing. But then the gambling industry threw several barrels of gasoline and really exploded the shit. Muay Thai became a gold mine. Fighters weren't just competing for glory anymore, they were fighting for huge piles of cold hard cash. Television started becoming cheaper and suddenly every household in Thailand was watching Muay Thai every day. All the kids now wanted to be Muay Thai fighters. Stadiums were packed every night and the level got so high that only the best of the best were competing in the leagues. Fights weren't even based on skill level anymore, but simply the best betting odds. Most of the fighters from this era are now considered legends. This guy was so tall they called him the Sky Piercer, and this guy was a great showman. After retiring from Muay Thai, he became a successful singer and actor, because why not? This guy was so good, he got his own character in Street Fighter. And these guys were known for their fighting intelligence, always adapting and outsmarting their opponents. And they called this guy the Professor. No, not that guy. Well, sort of. The golden era shaped the entire culture of Thailand. Muay Thai was everywhere, in movies, on TVs, in schools. Kids as young as 6 were training in camps, dreaming of one day fighting in the big stadiums. Then, amongst all the good stuff, the government said, "F you, America, we don't want your dollars anymore," and then the entire economy crashed. Good job, Thailand. The gambling money dried up and stadiums got emptier. Muay Thai, of course, didn't die. It adapted. Fighters went abroad, gyms opened overseas, and the sport kept going. The Netherlands was one of the first countries to adapt their style with Muay Thai. They mixed it with their kickboxing and created some of the most feared fighters in the world. The Japanese were not gonna miss out on it either. K1 was born, with many Muay Thai fighters getting really popular there. Back in Thailand, the sport was becoming more and more Western. Footwork got better and punches got sharper. New stadiums started popping up and lots of money started flowing back to Muay Thai. Oh yeah, did I mention the internet is now a thing? YouTube videos of fighters like this guy or this guy went viral. Gyms started popping up in every major city, from New York, London to Sydney. Muay Thai was introduced to MMA. Fighters started using this incredibly powerful style to win titles in promotions like the UFC, ONE and Bellator. You had Anderson Silva, the Spider, one of the most famous Muay Thai fighters who became one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. People called him a magician, but really, he was just very good at Muay Thai. You had this guy, also known as the King of of Rio, and he had some of the hardest kicks and knees MMA has ever seen. Take Mighty Mouse, one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters ever. He too used Muay Thai and dominated the flyweight division for years. And of course, we can't forget about this guy. He lost some of the fights in the UFC, then he moved to Thailand, learned Muay Thai, and came back to the UFC with a whole new style. He started knocking people out with elbows and knees like he was fighting in the big stadiums back in Thailand. In his famous fight against this guy, he destroyed his opponent completely. It was like watching a Muay Thai fight, but in a cage. Oh, and let's not forget this guy. He was not in the UFC, but he's in one championship, and he's a Muay Thai monster. He fought Mighty Mouse in a special rules fight, Muay Thai versus MMA, and while he didn't win, he showed the world that Muay Thai is one of the most dangerous martial arts on the planet. So, what's next for Muay Thai? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, this ancient martial art isn't going anywhere. It has survived wars, economic crashes, and even the occasional French boxer. Anyways, what the hell is the Olympics doing?